This is an old Yuri Hime Japanese maple. The trunk is quite big. It had a watering issue last summer 2025, in which it did not get watered during a hot spell, and a lot of it died off. So part of what I'm going to do with it today is clean out all these dead branches and see what is left. And we'll check in when I get that done. But, you know, you can see, like, this branch is dead, goes all the way back. So I'm going to clean that out, and I'm going to see what this tree looks like. All right, so I cut a lot of the dead pieces out of it, as you can see. And I talked to Brent about what he wanted to do with this tree. And its role for the last several years, 5 or 10 years, has primarily been as understock, a place where we come and get cuttings when it's time to redo the Yuri Hime population. So he has decided that at this point this tree isn't going to go back into bonsai shape, even though it has a lot of potential with all these beautiful nabari and this nice thick trunk. So I'm going to trim it back into a plant that will produce cuttings for this summer, hopefully, or for next summer. So here's a good look at the trunk and the nabari that this tree has. I've given it a first hose off to get some of the loose soil off of it. And then I'm going to do a little root pruning on it and put it back in its original pot with new soil. It's probably been in that pot for a very, very long time, 10, 15 years maybe. And we'll let it do its thing, and I'll keep it in the greenhouse for a while and maybe forever, so I can keep an eye on it. Here's a look at the bottom of this massive root ball. That's probably a foot deep and about 8 or 10 inches long. And I'm going to take a Sawzall and I'm just going to cut about maybe 4 inches right off the bottom of this and get rid of all this compacted root growth down here, and that will open up the bottom of the plant so that I can put new soil in, and these roots that remain will get better nutrients for this growing season. All right, so this is following the second rinsing of the roots. A lot of root hooking. This doesn't have to be perfect because this isn't going to go back into bonsai shape, but I wanted to show you what it looks like when we repot these big trees. And it's just going back into the same pot it came out of. I've taken off about this much of the roots. So all this down here is new soil. It's sitting a little bit higher in the pot, which is what I want. If you're making bonsai, you can look at this plant position, and this is pretty much what you want, because the air will expose these roots and harden them off into nabari. So that's what you want. These little roots eventually will just die off, and you will be left with these exposed nabari. So as you're doing your repotting, you want to get these trees up in the pot so there's a nice pyramidal shape that allows the tree to really develop nice nabari. So here it is. It's repotted. I couldn't help myself a little bit. It's a little bit at a tilt. In the future, when this starts to branch out again and things start to develop, this could go back into being a bonsai, ready for styling. There's a lot to work with here. It's one of those situations where we're looking at the function of this tree, not so much as something we want to sell, but as something we want to produce the cutting material for future Yuri Hime maples.